Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We continue reading from Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 3, Chapter 28, Text 4. Ahimsa Satyam Asteyam Yavad Artha Parigraha Brahmacharyam Tapa Shaucham Swadhyayah Purusharchanam. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. One should practice non-violence and truthfulness, should avoid thieving, and be satisfied with possessing as much as he needs for his maintenance. He should abstain from sex life, perform austerity, be clean, study the Vedas, and worship the supreme form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we can see that Lord Kapiladev has been giving instructions to Devahuti. So the word Purusharchanam in this verse means worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, especially the form of Lord Krishna. Worshipping Lord Krishna. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita also that those who worship the demigods, their intelligence has been stolen. So he says, worship me. Why does Krishna say worship me? Is he so egoistic? What do you think? Anyone?
He's not being egoistic. It is his love for all the jivas, because he don't want all the jivas to come back again in this material world. He want all the jivas to attain and to go to their home back to Godhead.
So why not worship the demigods?
Because if we worship the demigods, then we go to their planets, and then we again fall back in the material world. So Krishna doesn't want that for us, because he's a loving father and he loves us very, very much. So he wants the best for us.
That's right. Thank you. We continue to remain in the material world, not fall back. We continue to remain in the material world if we worship the demigods. So Krishna tells us you respect them, yes, but worship only me. In Bhagavad Gita, it is confirmed by Arjuna that Krishna is the original Purusha or personality of Godhead, Purusham Shaswatam. So Krishna is telling Arjuna that I'm the original person. Yes, Krishna is very honest. He's just stating the fact. We have to accept, we have to hear from Krishna. Therefore, in yoga practice, one not only must concentrate his mind on the person of Krishna, but must also worship the form or deity of Krishna daily. So here we are advised to also worship the deity form of Krishna, especially grahastas. Grahastas are recommended to worship the deity because then there can be some sort of regulation and cleanliness maintained in the household. A brahmachari practices celibacy, controlling his sex life. One cannot enjoy unrestricted sex life and practice yoga. This is rascaldom. So-called yogis advertise that one can go on enjoying as one likes and simultaneously become a yogi. But this is totally unauthorized. So someone may say, yes, I will give you initiation. You don't need to change anything. You can continue to do anything you want to do. But this is unauthorized. Unauthorized. It is very clearly explained here that one must observe celibacy. Brahmacharya means that one leads his life simply in relationship with Brahman or in full Krishna consciousness. Those who are too addicted to sex life cannot observe the regulations which will lead them to Krishna consciousness. Sex life should be restricted to persons who are married. A person whose sex life is restricted in marriage is also called a brahmachari. So a grihast can also be a brahmachari if he is following the rules and regulations of sex life. Like Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that He is also the sex life, if it's properly performed. So, reading on, the word asteyam is also very important for a yogi. Asteyam means to refrain from theft. In the broader sense, everyone who accumulates more than he needs is a thief. In the broader sense, everyone who accumulates more than he needs is a thief. According to spiritual communism, one cannot possess more than he needs for his personal maintenance. That is the law of nature. Anyone who accumulates more money or more possessions than he needs is called a thief. And one who simply accumulates wealth without spending for sacrifice or for worship of the personality of Godhead is a great thief. So here, Krishna, what happens is when somebody takes something from someone which does not belong to them, then he's called a thief. And then we can make a police report, and then the person can be put in prison. Then we'll say, why we are being called a thief? Because everything belongs to God. Everything belongs to God. And Sri Isopanisad says that one should take according to one's quota. Whatever is a quota. Ant has a small quota, elephant has a bigger quota. Not that the elephant has to take the share of the ant. No, no. Krishna is practical like that. He says, whatever is your quota, you take. But if you're taking more than what you need, then you're a thief. And then Krishna is saying, okay, you want to accumulate money? Sure, you do it. But you engage it in the Krishna for propagating Krishna consciousness. Engage it for worship of Krishna. So, Swadhyayaha means reading the authorized Vedic scriptures. Even if one is not Krishna conscious and is practicing the yoga system, he must read standard Vedic literatures in order to understand. So reading the scriptures is very important, no matter what path we are following. We are following the Ashtanga path, we are following the logic path, we are following the Gyan path. We need to read the authorized Vedic scriptures. You see, some people, they say, yes, I wrote a scripture. When you understand, somebody has written the scripture, means it's going to be flawed. It will have mistakes. So we need to read the authorized scriptures, the revealed scriptures. Performance of yoga alone is not sufficient. Narottam Das Thakur, a great devotee and acharya in the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, says that all spiritual activities should be understood from three sources, namely saintly persons, standard scriptures, and the spiritual master. So Sadhu, Guru, and Shastra. That's the standard. Sadhu, Guru, and Shastra. So the Sadhu and the Guru should say what is written in the Shastra. That's the ultimate authority. Why? Because Shastra is spoken by God himself. So it's aparosheya. It's above any defects. The Vedas are above any defects because they are spoken by the Supreme Lord himself. These three guides are very important for progress in spiritual life. The spiritual master prescribes standard literature for the prosecution of the yoga of devotional service, and he himself speaks only from scriptural reference. Therefore, reading standard scriptures is necessary for executing yoga. Practicing yoga without reading the standard literatures is simply a waste of time. So why is practicing yoga without reading the standard literatures a waste of time? Is because when we read the scriptures or when we hear from the scriptures, then we are getting knowledge. Then we can understand why we are doing what we are doing. We can understand, oh, there is God. Oh, this is the position of God. Oh, this is my position. We can understand everything then. When we are reading the scriptures, then our intelligence is being purified, And what is the spiritual intelligence needed for? To discriminate that I'm not the body. I'm an eternal servant of Krishna. So the more we hear from the scriptures, the more our intelligence can be purified. So this is what Lord Kapiladev is recommending. Being non-violent, be truthful, avoid being a thief, means also not taking more than what we need, and be satisfied. Satisfied. It's an important quality. Devotee is always satisfied with what Krishna gives. If we're always hankering, then that means we, if we are lamenting, hankering, then that means we are thinking we know better than Krishna. So devotee should try to be satisfied. He should abstain from sex life, perform austerity. Tomorrow is Ekadashi. Well, here in this part of the world, it's tomorrow. In Taiwan and in India, it's on Saturday, right? So
Yes.
perform austerity. Following Ekadashi fast is an austerity. Then be clean, study the Vedas, and worship the supreme form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Do you want to add anything?
So as you mentioned here, that one should practice non-violence. So the non-violence is that we should not hurt jiva, right? Other jiva.
I'm sorry, your voice is very low,
Okay.
Neha.
Now can you hear?
Yeah, it's better. Thank you.
So in the first line of the translation, there is written that we should not be non-violence. We should practice non-violence. Sorry, we should practice non-violence. So does that mean that like we shouldn't be hurting the other jivas?
Yes.
In the sense, not only physically, but also by our speech and, right?
Yes, that's
The
right.
non-violence will include that here.
Yes.
And I think eating vegetarian food, right? Also,
Yes.
that's what it means.
Yes. Yes.
Not killing animals.
Not killing animals. That's right. Yes. Yes. And I think I remember hearing one time, I think it's there in Bhagavad Gita or something, non-violence, Prabhupada says, and one of the purports even means that speaking the truth, to everyone, telling them what's their real position. He goes to that extent to say that you should be telling everyone the truth. What is the truth? The fact of life, that Jivera Swarupa Krishna Nityadas. Of course, many of us are not prepared to listen to it. That's another thing. Not many of us want to hear, oh, what? I'm a servant of Krishna. What are you talking about? But yeah, that is being truthful. So at least this is what I remember regarding nonviolence. I could be wrong, but yeah. But yeah. So we'll continue reading.
And also, I feel that why we read scriptures, because that's how we know that what the saint, the guru is saying, it is according to the scriptures. So at least like the tallies, all the three, right?
Very good. Yes, very good point. That's right. Thank you. Yeah, so we can tally, as you said, what I'm hearing from the sadhu, is that correct, what I'm hearing? Yes,
so
very
that's
important point.
So then like, yeah, okay, you're on the right path. You are following.
Yes, very good. Excellent. Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
So reading on, Maunam Sad Asana Jaya Stairyam Prana Jaya Shane Pratyaharas Chendriyanam Vishayan Manasa Hridi. One must observe silence, acquire steadiness by practicing different yogic postures, control the breathing of the vital air, withdraw the senses from sense objects, and thus concentrate the mind on the heart. So now this is like the Ashtanga yoga, the Hatha yoga. Our yogic practices in general and Hatha Yoga in particular are not ends in themselves. They are means to the end of attaining steadiness. One must first be able to sit properly, and then the mind and attention will become steady enough for practicing yoga. I don't know if you all have, if you all remember also when we were in school, the teachers used to tell us, sit up straight. If we were sitting in like not a good posture, the teachers would say, sit up straight. Why? So that we can be attentive to what we are hearing. I don't know if you all have had the experience of that. Otherwise,
You
we
are
are sitting
telling
not in a...
about sorry, but you're telling us about school, but I heard in one of the chanting japa of Prabhupada, and then
Yes.
and then he very promptly says, "Oh, sit up straight, sit properly."
Sit
Yeah, he
properly.
always says that. Yeah, sit
Yeah,
properly.
the japa recording of Prabhupada
Yeah,
is
the
that
japa
sit
recordings.
properly. Yeah, so why
sit
is that?
properly.
Why sit properly?
Because that's how the air, right, can flow.
Or maybe we can hear
See?
properly because if we are
When you're
The
sitting
air can
upright,
flow properly, we can hear properly, yes, and
so then your
our mind is
concentration
able
is,
to
yeah.
control the mind better. Yeah. Gradually, one must control the circulation of vital air, and with such control, he will be able to withdraw the senses from sense objects. So this is a part of yoga. That why? What is he controlling the air from? Why? Because the senses are always going to the sense objects. The nose wants to smell something, the ears want to hear something, eyes want to see something. So the yogi is trying to control, he's trying to withdraw the senses within himself. Like the turtle has its limbs, right? Whenever the turtle does not want to show his limbs, he puts his limbs inside. That's how the yogi does. He brings his senses inward. In the previous verse, it is stated that one must observe celibacy. The most important aspect of sense control is controlling sex life. That is called Brahmacharya. Prabhupada would say that it is because of sex life we are continuing in material world, because of the sex desire, because of our lust, that we continue in the material world. That is called Brahmacharya. By practicing the different sitting postures and controlling the vital air, one can control and restrain the senses from unrestricted sense enjoyment. So the yoga postures and the pranayam, vital air, it is so that to bring the senses inward. Bring the senses inward. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. Dishjnanam ekadeshe manasa pranadharanam Vaikuntha-Lila Bhidyanam Samadhanam Tathatmanaha. Fixing the vital air and the mind in one of the 6 circles of vital air circulation within the body, thus concentrating one's mind on the transcendental pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is called Samadhi or Samadhan of the mind. So the 6 circles, there are 6 circles of vital air circulation within the body. These are the chakras. I don't know if you all have heard chakra healing. We're going to do chakra healing. Your chakras are not aligned. So that's why your energy is not flowing properly. Although I don't know now in this day and age, how many are actually expert in doing such things. How many are just doing it as a profession, and how many are really able to align the chakra as well. So the first circle is within the belly. The second circle is in the area of the heart. The third is in the area of the lungs. The fourth is on the palate. The fifth is between the eyebrows, and the highest, the sixth circle, is above the brain. One has to fix his mind and the circulation of vital air and thus think. So here, Lord Kapila Dev, now he's telling you, you control your mind, you bring your senses inward, you control the air, or you're controlling your chakras or whatever, like your breathing process. And then he's saying not that you become zero or nothing. He's saying what you fix your mind on, the transcendental pastimes of the Lord. So we can see here, because Lord Kapila, he's speaking about Ashtanga Yoga. So one who's practicing Ashtanga Yoga has to follow it properly. We can't take one part of something from somewhere and another part from somewhere. Then we have nothing. So the idea is to fix the mind on the transcendental pastimes of the Supreme Lord. It is never mentioned that one should concentrate on the impersonal or void. It is clearly stated, Vaikuntha Lila. Lila means pastimes. Unless the absolute truth, the personality of Godhead, has transcendental activities, where is the scope of thinking these pastimes? So Lord Kapila is saying, you think of the transcendental pastimes. Now there has to be pastimes, then only we will think of them, right? Isn't it? So that means there are activities there. That means there are activities in the spiritual world. That means the absolute truth has these activities. Otherwise, what is the meaning of a pastime? The activities of the Lord. It is through the processes of devotional service, chanting and hearing of the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead that one can achieve this concentration. So, you see, we are not expert. Now you tell us, you sit down and you control your chakras and you bring your mind within. Are we able to do it, practically speaking? Even if somebody is able to do, what percentage of people are actually going to be able to do it? Control the air, the breathing of the air, align the chakras well, so that you can control the mind. It's not practical. Not practical for us. We are Kali Yuga people. Our minds are very, very disturbed, Our minds are goes in anywhere. As Arjuna says, more difficult than the wind is to control the mind. So, but we are recommended, you hear and chant. We are recommended that by hearing and chanting, we will be able to fix our mind on the Supreme, because that is what is the goal, to fix the mind on the Supreme Lord. So hearing and chanting, then we are associating with the Lord. When we are hearing, we are chanting his names, we are associating with the Lord, because the Lord is on the absolute platform. Absolute platform. And if we see the mind is very restless, but the mind can find peace only in Krishna. The mind can find peace only at the lotus feet of Krishna. The mind can find peace only in chanting the holy name of Krishna or hearing the pastimes of the Lord. It's only then that the mind can find peace. We can try it. We can try to put the mind on something material, but it's not going to be able to find peace. It's going to keep on jumping from one place to another. But even if one name we are able to hear of the Lord, that's like a great thing. Even if one name, as described in the Bhagavatam, the Lord appears and disappears according to his relationships with different devotees. The Vedic literatures contain many narrations of the Lord's pastimes, including the battle of Kurukshetra, and historical facts relating to the life and precepts of devotees like Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruv Maharaj, and Ambarish Maharaj. So the pastimes of the Lord. The pastimes of the Lord are not alone. He's not there alone singing and dancing or playing his flute. No, the Lord is always with his devotees. He always comes with his devotees. Different, it could be Lord Brahmacharya, it could be Lord Nishingadev, and Krishna is surrounded by so many devotees. And so then when we hear these pastimes, so wherever the Lord is, the pure devotee is always there. You can't separate them. Can't separate. Because the devotee is always thinking of Krishna, always speaking of Krishna. And where the devotee is there, Krishna is always there. So can't separate them. One need only concentrate his mind on one such narration and become always absorbed in its thought. Then he will be in samadhi. Samadhi is not an artificial bodily state. It is the state achieved when the mind is virtually absorbed in thoughts of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is Samadhi, when we can fix the mind on God. That is Samadhi. So it's not artificial. It is a fact. It is a stage that can be achieved. Fixing the mind on the Supreme Lord. And Prabhupada is saying that even if one of the pastimes we concentrate the mind on, it's enough. It's enough. Yeah. So, did you want to add anything or comment?
Yeah, I like that part that they say that, how can you say God is impersonal? Then there are so many pastimes Krishna has done. So how can you say that, So he is the Supreme Personality. He is a person, right?
That's right. Yes, that's right.
Mm.
Yes, because as you rightly said, there's so many activities, so many pastimes. So he's a person. Also, when we call out for help, my dear God, please help me, please save me. When we are calling to someone to help us, right? Right? How can light save us? So he is the person, he is saving us, Krishna. Yes, as you rightly said, right? Goes to show the absolute truth, the personality of Godhead, the Supreme Person. So we'll stop here for today.
Yes.
Thank you so much for listening in and joining in and all your participation. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhaktavinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.